What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, getting into some Tribe, y'all. Alright, Amir, so today for The Great Debaters, we are going through our top 3 picks, Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, but, of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Unique Access Entertainment, share our content, talk about it, be about it, each one teach one. We appreciate your guys' support, and also, of course, you can hit us on that Cash App, Unique Access ENT. So today, for our top 3 picks for Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, this is their second album, came out in 1991, Amir. So as you're first getting familiar with this project, what were your thoughts?
So, this is one of the first rap albums that I bought when I was back in middle school, and I was put onto this album because at the time I didn't really know what to listen to, so I went on Amazon.com, and back then, I've said this in a few videos prior, but they have like something called Listmania, so I'd go and I'd type in like Dr. Dre's The Chronic, or I'd type in Public Enemy Takes the Nation Millions, and then based on those albums, it would give me a list of albums that people, like hip-hop fans, would put together, like, oh, 25 albums you must hear, 50 albums, and they'd rank lists. And I remember cross-referencing, because I didn't have all the money in the world, you know, I had to pick very cautiously, and I saw this one on there a bunch, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta buy this. So I did skip People's Instinctive, the debut. I went to this first, and then I listened to that one later. But anyways, this album, when I first heard it, I loved it immediately. I mean, just from track 1 to the end, I really liked this album back in middle school and still to this day. But anyways, moving on to my first pick, it is a little tougher. For me, there are definitely, it would be easier to pick a top 5, but if I had to pick my first one, let's go Buggin' Out. First off, even, you know, then going back to like People's Instinctive, I really like how Fife has a lot bigger role on this album. I think Fife is just a great MC, R.I.P., rest in peace. But Buggin' Out, I really like how he just comes out. He's got quite a few punchlines. New Balance Secrets to Avoid Narrow Path. You know, that was funny, and then he just has so many dope lines within it. Q-Tip comes in, the beat switches just a little bit at times, things add, things subtract. I like the chorus, bugging out, bugging out, bugging out, you're bugging out. But also on top of that, the music video is great. I think the visuals for this album are pretty awesome. Scenario also has a dope music video, speaking about music videos. But this song, just in general, I really like how you hear Fife rapping, you hear Q-Tip rapping, there's full-on verses, you get to see, you know, a little bit of back and forth, and it's just a fantastic song, so that had to be my number 1.
Buggin' Out's also one of my picks. I love the fact that Fife is on it, like Amir was saying, because Fife, I think, brings a lot of extra elements to it, and I think he pushes Q-Tip, in my opinion. But, you know, there's so many sampled things, styles upon styles upon styles, what I have. You know, there's so many lines from Fife that are memorable, noticeable, that are taken from Buggin' Out, and when they do the video with We Got the Jazz and they split it and Fife comes in, man, it's just so powerful, and that's because this beat is so muscular and so hard-hitting, and the drums just pound and thump, and it's just an amazing sonic package that I just love it, man. It's amazing, and Q-Tip is dope on it too, of course, as he usually is, but it's just the tag team of the two of them, I think, just works so well, and Buggin' Out is the first example we get of that on the Low End Theory, if you're listening to it in the sequence that they provided, and it's just amazing, man. I love it. And the drums, which really drew me to rap. Buggin' Out has some of the best drums, in my opinion, on the Low End Theory, and since Q-Tip, especially in this era with People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm, and now with Low End Theory, his drums that he uses are just incredible. So, phenomenal stuff. So what's your second pick, Amir?
That's very true. Second pick is actually gonna be my favorite song from the album. This would be Butter. Phife Dawg has the 2 verses on it. Q-Tip is on the chorus. And Phife Dawg basically is it's a track about women in his life, women that he's dealt with, etc. But basically, he was like a player. He was a Mac back in high school in '88, Garvey High, as he mentions. And he's listing off, a few females that, he had, but then he had met his match. Her name was Flo, etc. And basically, she kind of put him in check, and he wasn't able to get her, but, he's still got the crazy game like Parker Brothers, etc. But I think Phife Dawg's flow on this was just incredible. I think the beat it's not flashy at all, but it's a very catchy instrumental, and I really just like that instrumental a lot. I like Q-Tip's chorus, not parquet, not margarine, strictly butter. And Phife Dawg is as smooth as butter, right? But then in the second verse, Phife is now talking about women who are, in his opinion, fake, with their contacts and their fake hair. He's saying, he was talking to a girl, and she said her hairstylist Diane made it. And he's like, well, if you were just you, I would talk to you maybe, but he can't stand no bionic lady. So I think a lot of things that Phife Dawg is saying are like interesting. His takes on appearances and the women that he's talked to in the past. You can see some people, they leave a sour taste in his mouth with how they dress or how they style themselves or whatever with the contacts, etc., etc., etc. So it's interesting to see like the perspective. I think Phife just goes incredibly smooth on the track, no pun intended. And I really just think it's such a catchy song, but not a song that, it's not a single, it's not one that's always talked about, but I think Phife, especially being my favorite rapper from A Tribe Called Quest, I was happy he got all the shine on that song.
Alright, that's definitely not one of my picks. It's also not one of my favorites on the album, so that's interesting how we're not only diverging, but this wasn't even probably in my top half of the album, probably.
Oh, wow.
But going on to my second pick is Excursions, the first song on the album. And this one, I remember getting this album, shout out with Tim Curitan. We were driving back from the Annapolis Mall listening to this, and I just remember like, man, the bottom on this song was amazing. The drums hit so hard on this song. And then just Q-Tip doing that semi-autobiographical thing at the beginning, back in the days when I was a teenager, before I had status and before I had a pager.
Yeah.
When he gets into all of that and then just breaking it down, the music is pretty skeletal. There's not a lot going on other than like the bass, and then the drums, which is fine by me. I don't mind the skeletal beats because I love that style of rap and I love that sound because it's so forceful and it really makes you focus on the very few things that are going on sonically. And then Q-Tip, I think, just really does an amazing job on that song, and it just kicks off the album in such a powerful way to lead us into Bugging Out. And so that 1-2 punch to me is pretty powerful, and I just love it, and I have a lot of great memories just listening to it and hearing it the first time as the return of Tribe Called Quest. So I just love Excursions. So that's my second pick. So Amir, what's your third?
Third pick would be the anchor on the album, Scenario. But with that being said, Excursions was fighting to be in it. Check the Rhyme was fighting to be in it. But yeah, it is interesting. And one thing that I want to mention before I get into Scenario is I do actually have the CD long box of this album, which these are quite hard to find these days. But what's interesting about it is, if you can see the sticker on the front, we'll put up an image so you can see up closer. It says featuring Check the Rhyme, Everything is Fair, and the infamous Date Rape, which I think is very interesting because they're not shouting out the singles with the exception of Check the Rhyme. So Everything is Fair and the infamous Date Rape, especially with the word rape in there, I think is odd. But then these are songs that aren't even, that people talk about as much as like Check the Rhyme or Jazz or Scenario. So I thought that was odd, but nonetheless, I was super happy to own this and just a classic album. But moving on to Scenario, one of my favorite posse cuts in general. You got Tribe, you got Leaders of the New School. Phife starts it off with the Bo Jackson line, and I think Phife is, like I said, I think he just does so well on this album. Big shout out to Phife. And then obviously we get Q-Tip, we get Leaders of New School members, Charlie Brown, D.O.C, we get Busta Rhymes, which honestly, that verse is my favorite verse on the song. I think it's most people's favorite verse on the song. But just one thing that's so special about this song in general is how interactive everyone is. You know, it's not just, oh, it's Dinko's verse, it's Charlie's verse, it's Fife's verse. Everyone is in tune with the songs. It's like they're all just part of that session having a good time. Because when Q-Tip's rapping, you hear Busta Rhymes give a couple lines, you hear everyone say certain words like here, ear, powerful impact, boom, you know, like everyone is saying boom at the same time, so it gives the track so much more of a live, energetic feel. It makes it feel like just everyone had a piece of it, and that's really what happened. So songs like that where you can tell just everyone is a part of it, to me it makes it that much more special, and it's really like a capsule of what was going on like in these eras where people were really involved in each song together. And then you, like, I'm sure Busta Rhymes had his input on other songs now because he was in that session, as well as Leaders of the New School. So I just think that's very special, you know. And this wasn't sent through an email, it wasn't sent through Dropbox. This was, they were there, they were present in that studio. So in my opinion, that makes a lot of albums in this era very special, and I think Scenario is very evident of that. So that's my last pick.
That's also my last pick. Should probably be no surprise since it's a phenomenal song. And it's interesting that I like the first two songs and the last song the best, which is pretty unusual, generally speaking, for me. But Scenario, I think, is amazing. I actually prefer Fife, Charlie Brown, and D.O.C over Busta Rhymes, which I know puts me in the minority for this song, probably. But Fife starts it off amazingly. Charlie Brown was the one I was obviously wrong, but I thought he was going to be the star of Leaders of the New School if they ever broke up or did solo albums or what have you. But I want to give a special shout out to D.O.C because his verse on this song is so amazing, and the wordplay and the stylistical genius and the lyrical acrobatics that D.O.C does on Scenario, I think is very seldom discussed, very underappreciated, and definitely phenomenal. So big shout out to D.O.C, man. I remember when I was first hearing this song, I just was like, how did he do that? How did he say that? What does that mean? It was just amazing. And Charlie Brown, his just distinctive flair, I always loved. Of course, he did that throughout his work with Leaders of the New School. And then Fife, as we've discussed throughout this video, really shines throughout Low End Theory on many of the songs, and Scenario is no exception. So those are my 3 picks. You guys got Amir's 3 picks. As always, hit us in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe to Unique Access Entertainment. Tell your friends about us. Please, we're trying to get these subscriptions up. So, you know, tell a friend to make sure they subscribe and get another friend. We need to get these numbers up. But let us know what you guys think. Unique Access Entertainment. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
Great debaters, y'all. Shout out to Tribe. Thank you. Low End Theory.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.